Ladies and gentlemen, hello, and welcome to a very special episode of Sherm in the Booth. My name is Sherm. You guys are some true Chicagoans for coming out in January. It's snowing outside, it's freezing, and you're at the fucking club at 1 a.m.
Boys with the bass, yeah, boys, bass.
Who am I talking to right now? You're famous.
Free food, free drinks, music, girls. Let's go.
Do you like it? Cool. If you don't, goodbye.
I'm missing the most important part.
Boys with the bass, yeah.
We should throw like a crazy bar mitzvah party.
This is crazy. Send me stems. I finished it.
What's up, guys? How's everyone doing?
Just wait, you know it kicks in like 3 to 5 seconds afterward.
Yo, what's up, everyone, and welcome back to another brand new episode of Sherm in the Booth. I'm, of course, your host, Sherm, and today is Wednesday, February 16th, 2022, and this is episode 196. I am so excited to share this interview with y'all because I had such a blast meeting and getting to know the incredibly talented singer-songwriter who goes by the name of Stephen Voyce. Stephen has an amazing energy to him. We hit it off right from the start, and not just because he loves Batman and Halo. In episode 196, we got it all in, and started by talking about his early inspirations and influences. Stephen was born in Nigeria, but grew up in Montreal, and has always been surrounded by music. He always remembers his mom playing Michael Jackson constantly, and he quickly realized that music was going to be an integral part of his life. After his mother's passing, Stephen turned to music and fully pursued a career in the industry. Since then, he's released a plethora of originals, collaborations, features, and albums. Every year, growing as a singer, songwriter, and producer. Absolutely love it. Of course, we talked about the Stephen Voyce discography. Not only is Stephen wildly talented, but he's also a very hard worker. He's released well over 100 tracks and 4 full-length albums. We had so much fun taking a trip down memory lane and discussing some of his recent work like Summer Lust, Love in Montreal City, and Not Your Type with Jess Abran. We went deep on the inspiration for his music and creative process for composing Stephen Voyce tracks. Throughout the interview, Stephen shared his experiences in creative industries like music, film, gaming, and social media. One thing he always keeps in mind is to keep it fun and make sure that he's enjoying the process. Although these are creative industries, there will always be business and money-oriented people trying to influence an artist's process and product. Stephen has learned the hard way that it needs to always be the artist's decision on the direction and product. I really loved his perspective on this. Gotta keep it fun. And speaking of fun, we had a lot of it in this interview. Stephen and I had so much in common, music and non-music related, which always makes for a great conversation. I love his voice, I love his music, and I cannot wait to see what the future holds for him. Now let's get into it right now so you guys can hear his story for yourselves. This is episode 196 with Stephen Voyce. Ladies and gentlemen, hello, and welcome to another amazing episode of Sherm in the Booth. I'm here with my man, Stephen Voyce. He's up in Canada. I'm here in Chicago. We're both freezing our asses off, but we're going to bring some warm, positive energy to this interview. Stephen, how the hell are you, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. Now I have to wonder, who's colder though? Are you colder? Is it cold in Montreal or is it Chicago?
Things that we're not talking about enough. Who's colder?
I don't know. Who's colder?
It's been pretty fucking cold. You guys, do you do Celsius, right?
Yeah, we do Celsius. I don't understand. Is it what's in the States? What is it again? Is it Fahrenheit? Yeah, I don't understand. Every time I'm just like, I don't comprehend. Like I can do the math, but I'm just like, I don't want to do it.
We've had 5 degree Fahrenheit recently. So
yeah. Don't know what that is.
What's the Celsius there?
We've gone down to, I think, almost like minus, I want to say minus 30. I want to say we've had Arctic moments, like moments where we got warnings on our phones, like the government like texted us, like, if you go outside you may get frostbite. You're like, it's cold. It's cold when you get a text. You're like, oh man,
yeah,
you've been warned. And obviously I didn't believe it, so I went outside and I got really cold. Like my fingers were so frozen to the point like I thought like I had frostbite. Like it's so cold in Montreal, but right now we're good. But it was
getting better every day.
Yeah, man. we're getting back to that spring, summertime is gonna get there. Can't wait.
I know. And you were telling me the restrictions starting to loosen up a little bit. Restaurants coming back.
Yeah, we have the restaurants that are back now. Like, yeah, we were locked down right before the holidays. It was just like right before the holidays, we got the text and it was like, so no bars, no restaurants, no gyms, no cinemas. And we're just like, this is not fun. So it was pretty brutal. I'm not going to lie, but yeah, things are opening up now. We have the restaurants that are open. Cinemas are opening up. I believe on the 7th. Are we the 7th today? I think we're the 7th.
Yep, 7th.
They're open today.
All
so
right.
I'm gonna go watch Spider-Man No Way Home this weekend. Gym's open on Valentine's Day. So like, yeah, man, it's good. It's good, man. I'm feeling so happy right now, especially for the gyms. Especially for the gyms.
Yeah. You work out too?
Yeah, man. For me, working out, my workout preference is I use boxing as like that's my go-to. As I build my cardio, as I build my strength. And just not being able to fully do that. Like I can do it at home, but it's not really the same. So it's definitely hit me hard not being as physically active as I used to be. So once the gyms open, I will go harder than I've gone ever before. Man, I'm stoked.
I love that, man. You're going to beat the shit out of that punching bag then.
Oh, RIP punching bag.
That's awesome. No, boxing, such a great way to work out too. I mean, it's full body. Like you would think about it just from an outside perspective. Sure, some cardio, but mostly upper body, but it's a lot of legs, it's back, it's everything.
It's the whole shebang, man.
Mental,
like you do want like a quick boxing workout and you're drained, and it feels so good, man. It feels so good. So yeah, I can't wait.
Wow. When did you start boxing? Sounds like it's been a passion to use for a while.
Yeah, man. Like I want to say like almost like 10 years ago at this point. Like it was a situation where a friend of mine was going to a gym in Montreal called Underdog Boxing Gym. And he was like, hey, you want to come and try it out? And I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And at that point, I wasn't as physically active as I am now. So I went in and I almost died. But I said to myself, this has been the most fun, almost death experience. Like I need to do this again.
I haven't heard that before.
Yeah. So yeah, I went back, and ever since then, man, it's just like I said, it's just like you said, it involves your entire body. Like every aspect of your body is being worked out. Mm-hmm. It's so great for cardio. It's so great for muscle, and it's great for your mind because it's almost like chess, but like a physical chess, because you have to figure out what your opponent's going to do and try to strategize in that regard. And it's just like, it really encapsulates everything that is awesome for me. So yeah, I love boxing.
That's awesome. And Stephen, I did a ton of research on you, and I know you have a lot of passions. Boxing was not on there, so it's great. Yeah, you're someone who I just get that energy where it's like, if you love it, you really love it, and you're so happy to be able to do something that you love, right?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like I feel like that's the whole point of life, is to find things you're passionate about. Yeah. To experiment and try things that you may not necessarily know you may like, to see if you will like it. Mm-hmm. That's the whole point. And when you land on something that really resonates with you, it just feels like you've unlocked a part of yourself that like was always there, but you just didn't know was there. So if you don't put yourself out there, you never get to discover that. So yeah, I'm always trying to put myself out there and try new things and experiment with new ideas. It's the same philosophy I bring to music and just about anything I do. It's just experiment, have fun, and see where it goes.
I love that. I resonate with everything you just said. Like, I always try and be unapologetically myself. And I think in the world we live in, right, like everybody has an opinion of who you are behind the screen or on social media and stuff. And one thing I learned, during the past 2 years is just like, I'm so happy with who I am, and I'm grateful for the people I have in my life, and I don't take anything for granted. And I'm going to spread that love and energy that I've been able to find within myself to other people. Yeah, man.
That's what life is all about, man. Like you have to spread something positive, because it's so easy. And actually, I think I posted something about this week. It's so easy to shed negativity, to just post about that and just talk about negativity. But it requires so much more energy to be that level of negative. Like it's such a heavy feeling to carry around. But like shedding, and it's unfortunate we don't shed that much we don't release that much positivity into the universe as much as we do negativity for some reason, but like it's that much lighter. It's much easier. So once you get yourself into a pattern of just like trying to just share as much love as possible, then you start to feel it in yourself as well, you know? So.
Hey, and one thing I always say is life's all about consistency. And whatever you find that you can do consistently, do that.
Let's do it.
Like boxing.
Yeah, man. There it is. There it is. Bringing it all back.
Bringing it all back, man. Listen, Stephen, I really am so excited to get your full story here today.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're very, very talented. You've got an amazing career behind you and an even bigger one ahead of you. But like I said, I did my research and I saw there are 5 things that we're supposed to know about Stephen Voyce. Okay, you're vegetarian. You're unnaturally terrified of spiders. We won't go into that. I'll stay away from that. Okay?
We could.
Spider behind you. No, I won't. You're obsessed with Batman, like we talked about before we went live, and I want to talk more about that. Michael Jackson is your idol, but most importantly, one we were just talking about, you believe everyone deserves to live out their dreams. And you know, I just think that's so special, and I'm glad that we kind of kicked off with that. But I do have to ask. I told you I'm in Chicago. Let's talk Batman for a second. Which is your favorite Batman? I gotta know.
My favorite Batman. Oh my God, that's a really good question. Well, it's not gonna be George Clooney. I'm sorry, George.
No, I'm
sorry. I apologize, George. You can't be in there. You can't be there. You know what? Like, what's his name? The guy who from Twilight who's playing Batman in the next one.
Oh yeah, Pattinson.
Yeah, Robert Pattinson. Like I'm looking forward to his. I mean, we haven't really seen it. We haven't really seen it, so I can't really comment on it. But I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
But I have to say that I know people gave Ben Affleck a lot of flack, especially when he was announced as Batman.
Yeah.
And let's not talk about the Justice League, at least not the original cut. Let's not talk about that.
Let's not talk about that.
Let's not talk about that one. And I mean, and Batman v Superman. Let's not talk about the theatrical cut, but we can talk about the director's cut. Like once I watched the director's cut, it was after I watched the Snyder cut of Justice League.
Yes,
I was just like, this is what the movie was supposed to be. It was a little long, but like this is what it was supposed to be. I got super excited, so I went back to watch Batman v Superman, and I couldn't do it. But then I forgot about the theatrical cut. I mean, about the director's cut, and I watched that, and suddenly the whole movie made so much more sense.
Oh,
my piece of advice for everyone is to go watch the director's cut of Batman v Superman. It'll make you change your mind about that movie. It suddenly makes sense. Even the Martha scene suddenly makes so much more sense. So I have to give it to Ben Affleck. Like I feel like with the material he was given that we got to see in theaters, it may have seemed like it wasn't, you know, the best, but but really I feel like he truly encapsulated what like a Batman is that is broken and defeated, and I really like that portrayal of Batman.
Yeah, well said. You are someone who knows a lot about theater based on that description.
Nerd mode.
I love that. No, I studied design and production in college, and that's how I look at it too. It's like a lot of people, they just kind of look at it in a general respect, right? Like the movie as a whole, but you got to think about the script. You got to think about like how they actually are trying to portray Batman, and every actor is going to have their own iteration of that, right? Like Pattinson's clearly like just how he looks. It's a little more dark, his past acting experience. Christian Bale obviously is a little more like rugged, like pissed off almost. And Ben Affleck was like defeated, but I still have like a higher, you know, there's a greater cause here. So I think great answer. Thank
you, man. Like I really wish we had seen Ben Affleck Batman solo movie. I wish DC and Warner hadn't tried. At least I'm gonna say Warner. I wish Warner hadn't tried to push to go as fast as Marvel, because they're trying to catch up to like the Avengers. I wish they didn't do that. I wish they had done Man of Steel and then a Batman movie and then done Batman v Superman. I feel like Ben Affleck's Batman, I wanted to see how he got to be that Batman. Like what happened? Like I wanted to really see that. And you see that more in the, like I said, the director's cut, but I feel like it deserved its own movie to get us there. But they tried to rush it, and so it felt flat on his ass, and it is what it is. Yeah.
Hey, hear us now, people. Ben Affleck, we want your own movie. Come on.
Yes, make it happen.
Hey, make it happen. George Clooney and Ben Affleck are huge fans of Sherman the Booth, so I know they're going to listen to this episode.
George's going to be like, fuck that guy.
Yeah, fuck that guy. Unsubscribe.
I love George Clooney. I really do. It's not his fault. Like that movie itself was a cataclysm of just like everything wrong. I mean, when you think of Batman and Robin, the first thing you think of is Ice to See You, and that already It's just like, I was like, no, like because I was a big fan of the Tim Burton Batman, like, Michael Keaton's Batman and Batman Returns. So when they did Batman Forever and, they switched to Joel Schumacher, is it Joel Schumacher? Is that his name? The director, Joel. I'm calling him Joel.
Yeah.
Joel something. When they switched to Joel, the direction was more cartoony, and I was kind of like, all right, like I liked it, but like I missed the dark elements of the originals. But then when they went full cartoon with Batman and Robin, I was like, you lost me. And then they lost everyone. You lost everyone.
Yeah, they're bringing it back though. I think.
Yeah, man.
This next one's going to be the best one.
Yeah, I think it has all the potential.
Wow. Okay. Well, point taken. I'm learning a lot already. Yeah.
It's a nerd.
Listen, we're gonna have to have a follow-up episode that we just talk about Batman. We'll have to see. How about that?
Oh yeah, I'm so down. Let's so down. Yeah.
Well, I know a lot of listeners are out there like, what the fuck? But that's okay. We're getting into the music, people. Don't worry.
They're like, so wasn't this about music or like
right now? It's just Stephen and I talking. I haven't put this out into the ethos yet, so I'm just hanging out with a friend talking about movies. Sorry about that.
I'm having fun, guys. And so,
I love their attitude, man. Okay, well, listen, it is time to get your full story. Let's start at the beginning.
Let's do it.
Tell me about growing up and, when you really started considering music to be a passion in your life.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because we were talking about DJ Avisik before the interview, the song I did that was a Michael Jackson remake.
Yeah.
But Michael Jackson is the reason from a music perspective that I got into music. And it's because my mom when I was a kid, she was obsessed with Michael Jackson. So like I lived in a household where every song that what you heard was Michael Jackson. It was Thriller, it was Heal the World. It was like I knew nothing but Michael Jackson. And I just loved the way she loved Michael's music. And so it made me want to be like Mike. Like, like I wanted to be like Mike because in a way it's like I wanted to have my mom be like, oh, you're just as cool as Michael, like it's your kid, but like I wanted to be like Michael, and so it's like his music kind of became my music, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Sure.
And I just started to sing, and my voice naturally started to because naturally I have a very similar tone as Michael, luckily, and so my style started to gravitate in that direction. And as I got older, I started to, sing more and more, but I always kind of did it for fun. It wasn't anything I was taking seriously. But it's a few years ago now when my mom passed, that's when I needed an outlet. And I just turned to music. I started, writing songs about how I was feeling and the darkness I was in.
Yeah.
And I just did it as a way to release everything that was inside of me. I was very angry. I didn't understand, life at that point because I just lost probably the most important person in my life.
Yeah.
And as I started to share that with people on like SoundCloud and things like that, people would write me and go like, hey man, I'm going through something very similar. Knowing that someone else, went through what I went through and got through it makes me feel less alone. And that's when I feel like music really started to make sense to me as something that was more than just something I could do, but something that I was meant to do, because it connected me to people. It connected me to, it allowed me to share emotions and in a way help people get through what they're going through while also helping myself get through what I'm going through. So yeah, I think it's when my mom passed and I started using music as an outlet to find myself that I truly started to embody music as who I am.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you said in the very beginning, it's about turning a negative into a positive, and that's obviously something you live your life by. And I mean, sharing your truth with others through music is one of the most profound aspects of life, in my opinion, right? Like sometimes writing a poem or writing a book can make an impact, but singing a song and composing an actual track, it's just like, I don't know, it's like black and white versus color to me as a music lover. I think a lot of people might digest information differently, but that's amazing. Thanks for sharing that too.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you asking. And yeah, it's a story I always like sharing, just because, I mean, it's a painful story, but I feel like it's important that people, because it's so easy to look at someone and go like, yeah, you must have always had it easy. But it's important for people to realize that no, and it's like you sometimes have to dig yourself out of the drenches to find yourself, and it's so I always tell people that there are always lessons to be learned in the dark. The dark doesn't mean the end. It just means that there's an opportunity for you to now find your light. And when you do find it, it'll be that much brighter.
Stephen, perfect way to say it. And I hate to bring it up again, but not really. It's like in Batman, in the third one, you know, where he's down at the bottom and all he knows is the darkness, and Bane's like, I was raised in the darkness, right? Like sometimes you have to be put in a situation that you thought you would never be in, or all of a sudden it comes out of nowhere to realize, like I said in the beginning, like, who am I? And what's my point in life? What do I want to get out of life? And gosh, that's beautiful.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
So music was always a part of your life. Obviously, you love Michael Jackson. Your mom passed and you started writing music. Were you experimenting with songwriting and production? I mean, did you have friends that you were doing this with, or did it kind of just say, like, I need to give this a shot?
To be honest, before my mom passed, I was playing around with music. And I met a producer. His name is Mad Eye Sun. And Mad Eye Sun. He's the reason, like, I remember, like, back in the day, like it was like when they used to do like rap battles or, like, you know, like
ciphers?
And like hip hop stores and stuff like that. So I walked into, like, I was just walking downtown Montreal and I heard it. So I walked into the store. I still remember, it's called City Styles. I walked in and then they were doing a rap battle, and I was just like, this is dope. and I saw Mad Eye Sun, and I had known him when I was in high school, because we were friends, but we stopped talking. So I was like, oh, dude, what are you doing here? He's like, oh, I'm a producer. I was like, really? He's like, yeah, here's my demo tape. And I heard it. And I remember the next day I sent him back like a vocal recording of, like, you know, the old PCs really terrible recordings, but me singing to one of the songs, singing to one of the songs. And I was like, hey, can we do something with this? And he said yes. And he brought me to my first studio. I was terrified. Like, I remember my first recordings, I was just terrified because I didn't know what I was doing. I was always worried that, like, I was singing off key and I was going to piss off, like, the sound engineer. but like, I was lucky. The sound engineer was, like, super chill, and, like, he really taught me how to understand notes. Like, when I would sing something off, he would come in with his guitar and he'd be like, bling, and he'd like sing that, and I would. And at first I hated him for that. Yeah. But as time went on, it made me understand, like, okay, I have to really understand, like, the way the notes gel in my head. So I got a piano, a keyboard, and I started playing the keys to really understand the notes. And that's how I got into production as well. That's how I got into, like, all of those things. Kind of, it all happened out of pure fluke. In essence, it also happened out of necessity, because I have this thing about me where if I love something, I need to get really good at it. Yes. So, like, the fact that I wasn't hitting the notes back then, I was just like, I will do this. I will do this. And so I did. And so I'm really lucky that and happy I did that, because of that, like, I feel so self-sufficient when it comes to music, because I can do all aspects of it. And it's all because I allowed myself to sit back and learn, and really learn it to the point where it became second nature.
Oh my gosh. When it comes to really even pursuing a career in music production, singing, songwriting, whatever it is, right? I think a lot of people think, oh, it comes natural. You know, you're born with this talent. That population is so small. And probably, I don't know about you, some of the most talented musicians I know, they're not even pursuing a career in music. They're like a lawyer or something, you know? I have a friend who I would literally put him up against any piano player in the world, and I think he would be better, you know? But one thing too about singing, I think, is I've learned from interviewing singers on the show, being able to sing and getting better at that, you have to exercise a muscle in your throat, right? Like, you have to actually learn how to sing. You don't just wake up one day and go, oh yeah, I think I know how to sing, actually. And you've obviously put in that time and effort. You gotta, it's not competitive edge, but it's just like that will to want to be your best version of yourself, the Mamba mentality, as some say.
Absolutely. And I do feel like, I think it's absolutely important to have a competitive edge, but it shouldn't be against other people. For me, my competition is,
you know what I mean? Right.
Yeah. Like, my competition isn't like the next singer who's coming up or whatever. My competition is me. Like, I want to be better than I was yesterday. Like, I listen to my own songs, like songs I released like 3 years ago, and I'll go like, that's great, but I should have done this harmony there. like I'm constantly critiquing myself, but not in a negative way. I'm critiquing myself in a way where I'm like, okay, but we can do this different now. We can, right. I really just have fun with music, and I don't care, because I know people who try to, in their minds they're competing with me, and I'm just like, I don't know who you're competing with, but like it's not me, because I'm not even thinking about you like that. I'm proud of who you are and I love your talents, but like I'm not competing with you. I want you to succeed. I think we all can succeed. So like, don't compete with me, man. Compete with you. Like, go in and record and have fun and make mistakes and sing notes that are off, and then learn why you sang that note off. But like, you gotta have fun, and and not take yourself so damn seriously. Like, if you mess up, you messed up. It is what it is.
So true. I mean, imposter syndrome is very real. It's very, very real. And it's so easy to see a superstar, right? And you're like, oh, I'm going to be the next Weeknd, or I'm going to be the next Michael Jackson. You can draw influence from them, and that's great. And you should, because have you heard of the saying, nothing is original?
Yep.
Right. I heard it and I thought about it. I was like, yeah, every idea comes from somebody else's idea. So we're all sharing creativity in this ecosystem, especially in the music industry. And I've seen a lot more in the past 2 years, collaboration between different genres, different types of artists, a real open and honest approach to the whole music industry. And you still see, like, it's easier to see those people who are in it for the wrong reasons, right? They're in it to be the best, not because they love it.
No, to be the best, or like to be a millionaire or whatever.
Yeah.
Just like, where is the fun? Like, where is the fun? Like, I've worked with people. I never will mention names, but I've worked with like, obviously in the industry, you work with people that have their own perspective of who you should be. And their whole mindset is like, because I want to make you like the next blah, and like
exactly what I'm saying, right?
And then you're just like, do you see me, or like, do you see what you think you want me to be, but you're not seeing who I am? And it's unfortunate, because they end up putting you in a box as to what they think you should be doing, and then they completely miss the point of everything that you are. So yeah, my advice to any creator is to like really embrace all that you are, and don't get caught up in all that noise about like, you need to be, this person, and like, nah, like, if you don't know who you are, you're only going to get lost trying to follow some footsteps of something that has nothing to do with you.
Stephen, perfectly put. I'm all about longevity, and longevity to me is the little steps that you take to get there. So loving what you do every single day, regardless of how many people follow you or how many likes you get or whatever it is, that stuff comes honestly when you're true to yourself.
100%, man.
That's what lasts a long time. That is what stands out. And that is what people get on board with, is someone who, because we all want to be ourselves, right? But again, like, to bring it back, it's like social media has ruined so many aspects of that, where people aren't sure who to be because they're worried about judgment. But I'm inspired by people like you that are just who they are, and they're having fun with it, like you said. And that's the key word, FUN. Let's have fun.
Yeah, man. Let's have fun, man. And you make a good point about social media, because like, it's gone to the point with social media that it's no longer people are, trying to be someone because they think people will like it. They're trying to be someone that they think the algorithm will push. So like, we're now at a point where like, we're trying to make an algorithm happy. We're just like, oh, the algorithm didn't like that, so I'm gonna do this instead. I'm like, are you trying to make a machine, like an AI? Are you trying to make an AI happy right now? Is this what's happening? Is this like, nah, like, it's because all that happens is that you end up creating, like, if you do that, then everyone's a clone of the next person, because everyone's going to try and do the thing that the thing wants, and then it's just well, where are you? Like, I would tell people, like, where are you in all of this? Do you see yourself anymore? Like, are you just doing things because you think the AI, or you think that person's going to like it, but like, do you like it? Like, where are you? If you're not having fun anymore, if you're not doing something you're passionate about anymore, then you're only going to start hating the thing that you were supposed to love.
Yeah. And listen, square one, day one of choosing to be an artist in any form is you being your only fan. Your mom and dad and your partner, whoever it might be, your dog. Hopefully my dogs are fans of me. I really don't. They're Stephen Voyce fans, I think. But, it's like, you got to realize that's square one. That's day one. And you see so many people that get to a level, the perception of that, but they're alone in the green rooms. They're lonely on the road. And that's part of being a traveling artist and stuff. A little bit besides the point. But you know what I'm saying, right? Like, think about every day, 1-inch punches. Like, how am I getting to the next level, and am I enjoying that step? And don't think about the algorithm. I love that you said that, right? Like, think about like did my followers that I've genuinely stayed connected with, did this content resonate with them? You know, because you got to try new things, right? Like there's no doubt about that, but don't conform to what Instagram or Facebook says is working and not working.
Yeah, man, because then you're just gonna get lost. You're just gonna you end up pissing off the followers because they're gonna be like, who are you anymore? Like where did you go? Like what's happening? You know, so like I'm always gonna do that. I'm always gonna just be myself, and I always have people tell me like, "Oh, have you tried doing this thing? It's gonna work because it worked for that guy." And I'm like, I don't care. Kudos to that person that it worked for, but like, I'm not gonna do something that doesn't feel right for me because what's the point, man? I don't want to do that.
That's their journey, Stephen.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so back to 2010 to 2012, 2013, 2014, right? You're putting music out sort of casually, I'd say, on SoundCloud and just kind of trying to find your sound, obviously having fun with it, like you mentioned.
Well, I will, in that period, it's an interesting period because between 2000 and I want to say 2011 and 2015, I was caught in a record deal that put me on the shelf. I couldn't release anything like commercially. I was stuck and I kept fighting for like I had recorded an album in that time, and they had made all these promises about releasing it, and they just held on to it. And I fought to get myself off that deal. And when I did, I was actually really lost in my music because I didn't know if I wanted to keep doing it. I was just like, I did all this work and I got like screwed. And then I had all these songs that I had recorded, you know, during that time. And then I was just like, I don't know what to do. And then I met another producer. We became really great friends. His name is Souks. We found each other on SoundCloud. He heard my stuff and he was like, I really like your sound. He sent me a beat and I recorded to it. And then we became great friends ever since then. He was just like, man, I love your sound. I was like, I love your sound. And then we started working together. And then he reinvigorated like the passion and fire for creating music inside me. Yeah. And then we ended up creating like a separate album in that time, to the point that we ended up with like the original album I had, this new album, and we're just like, how do we release this? And he was just like, release them. So I released the first one, the first album I ever put out, which was an accumulation of songs I recorded between like 2011 and 2015. Yeah. There were like 40. There were so many songs, but I released an album of 45 tracks.
Did you 45 really?
45 tracks. Yeah. The first album under Voice was called Alone in the Crowd. 45 songs.
I did see that. I was so confused what it was.
Yeah. Alone in the Crowd. 45 songs. And
that's gotta be a record.
Yeah, I think so. I really don't think this has been an album that big. I don't know, but I think it's a record. We put that out, and then like that was 2015, and in 2016 we released the album that we did together called Hidden in Plain Sight, which is ironic because it was hidden in plain sight. And then I released a third album that we both produced called what was it called? I forget the name right now, but a third album, and then a fourth album in 2017. So like between that time frame, it's like I made up for all the time lost, and I just dropped songs. I was just like, bah! I dropped songs, and then like when 2017, the end of 2017 came around, I realized that I was done talking about the pain I went through with the loss of my mom. I remember when I recorded the last song of the last album, I was just like, I don't have anything else to say about this anymore. And I was just like, where do I go from here? Yeah. And then, you know, I made a decision I rebranded from Voice to Stephen Voyce. And I wanted to encapsulate everything that I am as an artist, but also who I am as a person. I wanted people to see Stephen. I got tired of people calling me Voice. And I got, because it felt like it was a symbol. It's almost like Batman decided to call himself, go, you know what? I know you know I'm Batman, but I'm actually Bruce Wayne. So from now on, I'm Bruce Wayne. You know, I wanted to let people see the person behind the mask. Yeah. And so Stephen Voyce was born, and that's when I started to go back to my roots of like Michael Jackson and like having fun, creating like funk elements and like And then that's why the first song I released of Stephen Voyce is called Summerlust, and it took me back to like my childhood. It was just like back to who I am as a creator. I just love to have fun.
Wow. Unbelievable. And I only saw from sort of like my research perspective, but kind of makes sense, Stephen, because I was looking through like, and there was good music that you released, right? But like, when I listen to what you've put out in the past 3 years, 4 years, there was obviously a big switch. Like I have it organized here 2014 to 2016. And
Yeah.
I was like, all right, like here's all these songs here. But now that you just said that, came out and said it, I'm like, it makes complete sense. Cause like Summer Lust, amazing song. Like the tracks that you've done with Jess Abram, amazing, right? Like especially recent stuff too. It's like, I felt like there was a soul switch almost, you know what I mean? And you
absolutely
took off the mask, soul switch, take off the mask. Like I felt it.
Thank you, man. That's really awesome, man. Like every once in a while I go back and I'll re-listen to like Alone in the Crowd or Hidden in Plain Sight, just to go back and remember where I was.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's funny because like it's like instantly the second I hear the song, I remember exactly what mind state I was in, what had just happened.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I just remember, and it's just like, it's a beautiful thing in a way, because I found a way to encapsulate moments, even the painful ones, in a bottle, that every once in a while I can reopen them and just remind myself, like, you came a long way. You were here, but look where you are now. And yeah, I just, you know, I get to put that out there into the world, and people get to discover the music. And like you know, like you going back and seeing the old stuff, like I want people to go back and find the old stuff and go like, man, this is a big difference. Like what happened? And like, yeah, life happened.
Like, yeah, totally. I mean, and I want to talk about the music too, but during that time, like you were under contract, right? So I don't want to assume you weren't being as creative, but I mean, what changed in your process too after that? I mean, other than once again having fun after that whole deal was done.
Yeah, man. Well, I think what changed was especially when I was in during the dark, I call it the dark era of my life. I was in I was so lost, and so music, it was a necessity. It wasn't like something it was something I needed to do so I can get through what I was going through. So it was less about trying to play around with sounds to come up with something brand new, but more about like, how can I get this feeling off of me as quickly as possible? Like, how can I release this pain so that I can be one step closer to being free from it? So a lot of the songs a lot of them are minimalistic. A lot of them just allowed the message to come through and just be released. But like now, like I play around with sounds and instruments because I've allowed myself to grow past that part of my life. I've allowed myself to make peace with what happened and realize that, hey, this happened in my life so I can be who I am right now. So I think what you hear is like, it's the difference it's a difference in how I attack the music. It's no longer something I need to do to release pain, although sometimes it is. But now it's more like I also want to have fun. I want to really produce my vocals. I want to produce the sound. I get to really dive into it now.
Yeah, I mean, and that's part of the evolution of an artist, right? Like I mentioned, day one being your only fan. You try different things. You sometimes you have to see who you are not to know who you are. That's something that I think about a lot. And
absolutely,
that's not saying I have to go down a dark path necessarily to go down the paved path, but you do have to, because art is subjective. Not everybody's going to like what you do. So when you're experimenting with it, and I've been saying that word more and more in regards to music, Stephen. I didn't used to, because I don't know, experimentation always kind of sounds like a science, you know, like, or like doing something bad, like
doing drugs.
Yeah, drugs, right? But it's like, dude, the definition of experimentation is literally just like trying something that hasn't been done before, right?
Yeah.
And with music, that's the beautiful aspect of music, is like you can do something that's never been done before. And that's part of the growth as an artist too. Like, and it's funny you said that. I'll go back and I'll listen to some of my first productions, and I'm like, oh my fucking God. But that's when you finish that first song, you're like, let's go. I did it, right? I did something. I made a noise, like whatever that is, definitely a noise. But I love how you put that. And yeah, I appreciate you sharing that too. Cause like, I know a lot of people that have been in record deal contracts, they've always mentioned it's like it felt like a job, and it's cool that you still were able to release, and you had a lot to write about. I mean, you released a lot of music during that time too, not even just that album, but like singles. Like I love the track High Enough, by the way, produced by I Am Toby. Like Justin Timberlake vibes in that track.
Yeah.
And some of your recent tracks too. I mean, I won't say it's the same, but you'd maybe, without even knowing it, draw inspiration from old inspirations. You know what I mean?
Oh, I absolutely know it. like,
yeah, for sure.
Justin Timberlake is another one of my idols. Like when Justin Timberlake put out "Like I Love You," I remember it was, I think it was on the MTV Awards where he performed it for the first time, and I had never I never heard the song before that, and I was just like, Justin from NSYNC? What?
Mhm.
Like I was blown away. Like I remember Justin Timberlake's NSYNC's last album, I think it was called Pop. Like he wrote a lot of the songs, and I was just like, I remember going like, there's something happening here. Like, I don't know what it is. I was like, but there's a transformation happening in him. And then he went solo and released Justified, that album, and I was just like, I don't understand. Like, dude, what is this? And ever
Talk
since
about
then,
evolution as an artist.
Exactly. He found his stride, and he went with it. And then that's what I love about music and arts in general. Is like, especially if you're a big fan of a creator, watching their journey, even if you don't agree with their journey, just watching their journey is inspirational, because like they go through their ups and downs in life, and they allow you to be a witness of that. And that itself is it's so beautiful.
Oh my gosh. I totally agree. Man, you speak from the heart, bro. I can feel it. I can feel it. Okay. Let's talk some of the recent music though. And I want to bring up the track that you brought up too, Summer Lust.
Summer Lust.
I know you guys are going to enjoy this one. Let's check it out. This one's called Summer Lust by Stephen Voyce.
Woman, I've been going crazy over you. The way you walk, the way you talk, goddamn. I can't help this feeling, and I know that you want it just as badly. Do you think that this can be more than a fantasy? If I come, will you hold on, or will you run from me? Do you run from me? Do you dream about the things that I can do to you? 'Cause I will do to you, whatever you want, whatever you want. It must be summer lust.
Talk about Michael Jackson vibes, man. Like this was the song where I felt a real soul switch, right? Like there's an energy to it, and there's certainly like a upgrade in passion and quality and like the whole thing. And it's just like, gosh, it's just such a good track. That was the first one you released after official?
That was Stephen Voice's first song. That was like bam. It was just like night and day. Yeah, Summer Lust. Ironically, so Summer Lust was produced by I Am Toby as well.
Okay.
And another producer going by Simon. I forgot his last name. That was gonna kill me. It is what it is. But like you can find it. You can find it in the credits. Simon, I love you. But yeah. So I remember I Am Toby. I was working and during that phase in my life, I was working on different songs as like in my new way of thinking about music. And I Am Toby sent me like the original version of that beat. I was walking home from something, and I was just walking. I heard it in my head on the way home. It was like 5 blocks. I wrote the entire song in my head. I came to the studio, recorded it right away, sent it to him. I was like, "What do you think?" And he was just like, "Yup." I said, "Yep," and then that was it. And then before you knew it, like we finalized the production, and then it was a thing. Like it was the first time we filmed like a professional music video for the song. So shout out to FH Studio. They produced it, and I was just like, it took me in a whole different level. I feel like that song propelled my career so far. Like it was just like that song happened, and then boom, here I was. You know, and I was so grateful because I did it while being, unsigned, while being an independent artist, and it felt great, man. It felt like this is a win. This is such a win, and I feel like that set the pace for everything that came after, because I was just like, yeah, man, I'm really on the right track right now, and it felt good.
Yeah, no, you definitely were on the right track, and it was a great breakout track, really. This, I wouldn't say a rebrand, but like, again, the evolution of Stephen Voyce, and gosh, the song speaks for itself, for real. It's very, very good.
Thank you. Yeah, I love. I every time I go to like, well, now bars are still kind of closed, but like when I would go to like a place in Montreal called Bar George, actually they just opened up again. I'm gonna go.
Right.
when I go to Bar George, every time I'd go there, the DJ would look at me and he'd be like, and I'm like, oh, I know what you're gonna do, and then he'd play the song every time. It's so cool, man. Like, it's just like, yeah, it's honestly, that's surreal. Like, I know, like, now it's happened so many times, but like every time he does it, I'm so grateful, because it's one thing to create, but to create and then have someone in your face love it so much that they need to play it for like people to hear. Yeah, and that feels good, man. That feels good.
Oh man, I love that.
That feels so good.
I had a really talented singer from Chicago, Josh Arce. I'm gonna send you his music because you would really like it too. You know, I was talking to him about like him sort of going from like a singer and a songwriter who was like doing what he thought would work, right? Like rapping about stuff that really didn't speak to who he was. And it's interesting. You guys have a lot of parallels, right? But he was like, dude, it's like, I started rapping and singing about like me and like who I am and stuff. And when he has a lot of music that's been remixed by a lot of Chicago DJs here. And he's like, it's crazy to see people like react to my voice, you know, like that's a wild thing. Like, I mean, as a DJ and a producer, like it's one thing, but like you're putting your voice out there, you're putting yourself out there. And that must be a little nerve wracking.
Honestly, you know what? Like, well, I'll speak from because I've been singing for so long. So like, I feel like I feel pretty confident with music, but like as a producer, when I first started, I remember people going like, you have to choose. It's either you're a singer or you're a producer. And like, I would be like, no, I want to produce. I want to learn to produce. And I would make beats and they'd be like, okay. And like, I remember like, you know, I was always like the weakest of all the producers. They're always just like, oh, here he comes with his like whack beats. So for a long time, I had this like insecurity about production. And then, so like now when I produce something, I produce a song, people go like, yeah, man, I love the song and that beat. I'm just like, yeah. And they're like, it's so dope. I'm just like, yes, it is. You know, like, so it's just like, it's such a, it feels so good. And then, so like, cause like now like Waves, they make the plugins that I use.
Yeah, of course.
So Waves, and you know, so now I have a partnership with them. I have a partnership. I have I don't call it a partnership, but like FL Studio recognizes they make the program I use to make my songs. Yeah, like they all recognize me as a top tier producer, and it's just like mind blowing because I play back in my head people going like, yeah, you're a producer, and I'm like, yeah, I am. You know, like it just feels good, man. Like it boils down to like if you believe in yourself, like and the truth is, maybe back then I wasn't as good as, you know, I was not good. And it's true. Like you start off something, you might not be as good, but like the whole point is if you're so passionate about something, you're going to get better. You're going to get better because you're going to work towards it. So like, yeah, if people tell you, man, if people give you feedback like, oh, you know, it's good, but it's not good enough yet, you know, maybe it isn't good enough yet, but like keep pushing, because if you have that drive, you will get to the point where you're better than good enough. You're just exceptional.
Yeah. And honestly, half the battle is putting yourself out there because most people don't. And one thing I think about too is the people that, and sometimes it's positive feedback, right? If it's a friend that's giving you that, but a lot of times if it's not, they're complaining because they're lower than you in this whole game, right? Like you ever hear people that are doing better than you or who might be more talented saying like, dude, what the hell is this? They're like encouraging you because they were you once.
Yep. And you're absolutely right. I'm gonna say it's every once in a while you get that one negative comment. And for me, I'm always blown away by the negative comments because especially on like YouTube where I'll put out a song and like and then
who is that
and like
person, right?
You know, like I'll put out a song and I'll be so proud of like, you know, we put out the music, we filmed the music video, we did this, we did that, we did all these things, we put it out there, and the comment you get is like, what's up with his hair? I'm just like, what is even the point of this? Like, what is the point? Why, who upset you so much in life that you felt you needed to type that? Like, I'm always blown away by the sheer level of the pointless negative comments because I'm just like, okay, you don't like my hair, but like, did you need to write it? Like, why did you feel like you needed to release that? And so to those people, I always say, I never respond to it, but I always wish them love and well, because it's coming from a place of insecurity. And I always hope that they find love in themselves to get to a place where they no longer feel the need to project their frustrations with the world onto others.
Yeah, it pretty much is that simple. I know.
Yeah.
Haters are always
But
out there, though.
but it can be annoying. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes you're just like, really? So, like, you're like, this is what your problem is. All right.
Dude, for the record, your hair is fucking awesome.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Fuck that guy. Okay, next up, and before we talk about the track, I want to talk about your relationship with her. We mentioned her a little bit earlier, but your track Molly with Jess Abran.
Yes.
I mean, you guys put this track out. I think that was your first collaboration, right?
As Stephen Voyce, we actually collaborated before that as well. I was under the old branding, but like I always take that as the first collaboration, just because like that's the first time like we really gelled. Like we always gel, but that's the first time we were just like this.
Yeah,
This is.
Dude, I was gonna say, like, I feel like you evolved on this track, like the songwriting, the vocal range. There's so real depth in the track. But tell me how you met her, because you guys have put out a lot of music together.
Yeah, me and Jess, we're best friends.
I figured, man. I could just, I feel it in the songs.
We're besties. So like whenever we work on songs, it's not even a thing. It's like it's not a process of like, you know, I'm gonna send her a song and hopefully she likes it. Like, nah, it's like we play around with each other, we tell each other, that take suck. Like, well, we have so much fun. Like, but we met because before I got into music really. I was as a geek, I had a gaming YouTube channel where we did game reviews and stuff like that. And when we first started, it was just me and my friend, and we review games. And the first game we reviewed, ironically, was Batman Asylum.
That is a great game.
That's a great game. It's a story for another day or later if you want to. So we reviewed that, but at first, like I said, it was just like we were just two guys wanted to review games because we're nerds. But as time went on, like it just kept growing and growing and growing. And before we knew it, we were having like different segments in the show. We had game previews, we had game reviews, we had game news. It was just like exploding. And then we got booked at Montreal Comic-Con to talk about the difference between Microsoft, the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. So like sick. It was just like, it just kept growing. And I remember at some point we got to the game news, we needed to hire someone to do the news. So I put out an ad looking for someone to review to read the news for gaming. And Jess Abran was one of the people who applied. We met instantly, just clicked. She came over to our studio, and which I say studio, but really was in my kitchen under the big ass green screen. She came over. In hindsight, that's not a good look. She came over to my kitchen with this big green screen, and and ever since then we became friends. But I didn't even know she did music, and I don't think she really knew I did music. And then one day she invited me to her show, and I was like, "You sing?" She's like, "Yeah." I was like, "All right." So I went, and I loved her voice, and then I told her like, "Hey, we should collaborate on something." She said, "You sing?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then she was like, "Okay, I guess we will," but it never happened. And one day she dropped a song on SoundCloud called I forget the name, but I loved it so much. And there was a part before she started singing where there was an empty space. So I downloaded the song and recorded to it, and I sent it to her, and she was just like, "What?" I'm like, "I know." And then that was it. And ever since then, we started working together.
Wow, that's pretty funny circumstances. I mean, you literally put out an ad for something the completely opposite of music.
Yeah, I'm looking for a gamer. Like, oh, you're a musician too?
Man, life is crazy like that though, isn't it?
Yeah, man. That's what I love about. That's why I keep saying like the things you're passionate about, go full circle. Like go not full circle, but like go all the way. Yeah. Because like even if that thing doesn't pan out, you never know what else it's leading to. Like we went all the way with this gaming thing, and then eventually it got so big, but it got to the point where I was just like, I had to choose between the gaming show and music. Whoa. And I was just like, look, I have to let the gaming show go because I want to focus on music. So I killed off the gaming. It's called The Gamer Nerds. I killed that off and focused on music. But like me and Jess Abran, we came out of that, and like, look at us now.
That's great. Shout out to Jess.
Shout out to Jess, man. Shout out to Jess.
She's very talented, very, very talented. Love her voice. And that song too, like she really showcased, like that song has a lot of depth too. I mean, how did Molly actually like that track come together? Like, did you say to her, "Hey, I'm Stephen Voyce now. We're doing something a little bit different than when I was Voice"?
No, it was one of those things where she came over, I think, to play video games or something. And
so she is a true gamer then.
Yeah, she's obsessed with Diablo to the point like I don't understand. But like yeah, I don't understand. But like but it happened where her ex-boyfriend at the time had composed this guitar riff. I think it was him. Yeah, he did it. So the guitar riff in the song. And he was like really excited for me to hear it. So like he brought his guitar, he came with her, he brought his guitar and he played it. And I was just like, this is a song. Like we need to turn this into a song. And so like we just sat down and created a full song. Again, it happened in one day. And that's how Molly was born. The song Molly is literally about Molly. It's
there's no hidden context there. Yeah.
There's nothing hidden there. It's called Molly, guys. So like not trying to hide it. It's funny because because I stopped. I don't drink anymore. I don't take any forms of drugs. But like it's funny when I re-listen to songs about like moments that are drug related. I'm just like, yep. Like, and no shame. It is what it is. I do what I do. Like life is too short. You like look. The way I say it, it's all about like as long as you don't overdo anything. I don't care what you do. Like like there's nothing wrong with anything as long as you don't kill yourself in it. You're on it. Like so. So people that do whatever they want to do you. Nothing wrong with doing a little bit of experimentation in drugs. I don't care. But for me, I decided that like I didn't want to do it anymore and I didn't want to drink anymore. And that was just a personal decision.
Yeah. Hey, good for you.
Yeah.
Stay strong. Everything in moderation. That's a mantra of mine too.
That's the word I was looking for. I was just like everything in
moderation. Yeah.
That's it. That's the word. That's the word. I tried so hard to like find a better word. I was like, it's not happening.
No,
I gave up.
Hey, that's what I'm here for. It's a team game. You've been helping me find some words too.
I appreciate it. It was like a Halo match where like I'm being shot and you like came in from the back and you're like, and you took the guy down. Save me. I'm saved.
Dude, saved. 3 BRs right to the head.
Bop, bop. Yeah. Well, isn't it four BRs to the body, 1 to the head? But I always go 4 BRs to the head. I don't have time to like go up. I'm just like,
you go for glory. You try to go for glory every time.
That's it, man. Perfect shots. That's it. And you're like in your face.
I love how much Halo and Batman is coming up in this conversation.
Oh, dude, man, Halo is life. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like Halo. Ever since Halo Combat evolved, we're going back. So the people listening and watching the podcast, we're going back into gaming. In case you don't know, let's go back to an era, the first Xbox, shall we? I remember that, man, when I got the first Xbox. And before that, like I never really played shooters. Like I never really got into Doom on PC and all that stuff. But like,
yeah.
I never did. And then Xbox came out, and I was just like, Microsoft's making a console, okay? Then so I bought it. And then I bought Halo and I played Halo and I'm just like, this is the best shooter game ever.
The campaign is just so sick. So much fun.
So good, man. I'm sweating. That's how excited I am right now talking about Halo. So, but yeah, man, I'm a big Halo fiend, man. Like I've played every single game except for the Halo Spartan Assault or whatever the hell it's called. All the like
I didn't play that either.
RTSs or whatever they're called. It's not my cup of tea. But the first person shooters, all the mainstay games, man, I've been playing every single one ever since.
Oh, me too. I'm my thing with my friends is we play the campaign on Legendary, and that's like what you do over the course of a weekend. It's a great time.
Yeah, I got to the point where at first it was play Legendary with my friends.
Yeah,
and then they got to the point where play Legendary solo to prove that you can do it. And
that's so difficult.
Yeah, man, I always did it. I always got the achievement. I'm just like. I didn't do it for Halo Infinite, not because I couldn't, but just because it's like I'm older now and I have less time. So like, dude, I just have less time.
That's so funny. When back in the day, like when you'd be playing late with your friends on a Saturday night and shit, and you're like checking out the other team, right? And you're like, oh, well, this guy, he's got a lot of points, but he hasn't beat the campaign on Legendary. I don't know how actually good he is.
Who is this guy? Heroic? You played a heroic with your
friends. Yeah.
You can play solo guy. Lame. Yeah. I'm that guy. I'm that guy.
I'm that guy. Fucking terrified of you.
Oh man. So right now in Halo Infinite, for all the gamers that don't know, I play ranked, which means ranked is where all the really obsessed Halo gamers like myself play, and it's a very sweaty place to be because everyone is trying to be better than you.
Yep.
So I got to Onyx level like last week, and I'm super proud of that.
Whoa!
I worked my ass off to get to Onyx, man. Yeah, man.
All right, are you ready for this?
Do it.
Have you heard of Snipe Down before?
Yeah.
Eric Rona, he rode my bus in middle school, Steven, and it's like a claim to fame of mine for big Halo.
I would say so. Yeah, right? I would say so.
He's fucking Snipe Down.
That's nuts, man.
Very nice guy. Very nice guy. Very fucking good at Halo.
Look, I'm really good at Halo, but then there's like Snipe Down level good at Halo, and those people make me want to quit Halo.
Yeah,
like
so guys,
like every once in a while, like this is like as an Onyx player now, so I'll play against other Onyx people, and I'll just like, you know, I'll be dominating, or we'll have matches that are very even. But every once in a while, there's that one stupidly good guy that will come in and make you like wish you never picked up Halo or controller in your life. You get so mad. You get so mad. My girlfriend is always like, yeah, I should record all the sounds you make when you're playing Halo. I'm like, yeah, you probably should.
That's so funny. Shout out to the massively impressive good Halo players out there, because they just, God, but they give you a goal to set. Like
they do. It's a very insane goal. It's intense. It's intense, man. Some of the trick shots they do, you just like, how the hell? It's like, how?
They turn Halo into Call of Duty, where it's like I spawn and I'm dead, and I'm like, what the hell? I thought I was supposed to have a chance in Halo. Not at all.
Yeah, man. You should hear me in Halo. Like when we're doing good, I'm very quiet. But when we're like, when it's an even match, I'm like, guys, we need to triangulate, okay, guys? Why aren't we triangulating? We need to crossfire. God damn it! Yeah, man, I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed.
That's hilarious.
I'm sweating. God damn it!
Good Halo
so
tangent there. I'm a little hot too. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's pump the brakes.
Pump the brakes. Let me drink some water. Cool down a little bit.
Drink some water. Slow.
Okay, I'm better.
We're
I'm back.
Now.
I'm back.
Okay. So past 2 years of music, 2020 to 2021, some of your absolute best work. And that's why I'm so confident and believe in you for the future, because I feel like you're on a roll right now.
Thank you.
And like the track Love in Montreal City.
I know you guys are going to love this one. It's called Love in Montreal City by Stephen Voyce, featuring Jess Abran, J Peace, I'm Awake, Zamira, Amy Topolovec, and Gabby Cool.
Come to me. You don't have to run from me. I promise you all of me. Damn, you look so good. And I wrote this song for you, let's make it work. And there's nothing I will do to make it hurt. If you give your love to me, we'll make it last. We'll make it last. Make it last. It's Saturday night, and I'm feeling alright. Now tell me, do you feel it? Love in Montreal City.
Obviously, I mean, this is a ballad track. I mean, is everyone on this track from Canada, I assume?
Yeah, I got all my Montreal musicians from Montreal. My Montreal musicians from Montreal to be on this. So redundant, Stephen. To be on that track, and it just like Jess Abran's obviously in it, and there's a story behind that song. Initially, I had a different plan for that song. My plan for Love in Montreal City was to have a lot more artists in that song, and not me sing it fully. I wanted to be like every person sang one line in the song. But you quickly learn when you're working with that many artists that it's not the most organized group of people. It was so hard to get everyone to commit to times. I'm just like, okay, guys, the studio is booked, blah, 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 blah. This is the time. You've known this, weeks ahead. And then the day before, they're like, oh, can we push this? It was so bad to the point I almost shut down the song completely. And then my friend, her name is Sybil Haven. She's a marketer. She's a good friend of mine. I was venting, and then she called me, and she was like, just do the song, like make it mostly you. What about make that happen? And I was just like, yeah, it's a good idea. So all the people that still were down to do the song, I asked them if they're down to change the direction, and they all were. And so yeah, all the people in that song, shout out to them, man, because like they came through, man. Like they didn't have to, and they did. So yeah, I love it, Montreal City.
It's a beautiful song. I love it so much. And hey, as someone who's humble about their city being fucking freezing and still loving every minute of it, right? Like,
yeah, man,
I liked it a lot.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah. It's a feel good song. I can't wait to be able to perform it at like one of the big festivals in Montreal when we finally can. I'm super stoked about that.
It's gonna be awesome, man. It's gonna be awesome. Okay, next up, 20 Sex 20.
Well, you know, we got to check it out before Stephen and I discuss it. This one's called 20 Sex 20 by Stephen Voyce.
Let me see you touch yourself. Do you mind if I watch? Don't you take your eyes off mine? Do you mind if I touch? Yeah, your body's aching, I can feel it. And your hips, they are your giveaway. You're a freak, yeah, girl, you're just like me. There's no place that you would rather be than right here with me. Right here, right here. Right here with me. Like the way you touch me, touch me. Sex in 2020. Like the way you touch me, touch me. Sex in 2020.
Now, I mentioned The Weeknd earlier, but I just want to be clear. When I compare or even give a reference point, I'm just hearing a little bit of it. I'm hearing mostly Stephen fucking Voice, right? I love this track so much. It's edgy. The composition is sick. Like, it is just dope. Like, I listened to it 3 times in a row. It was one of those tracks where I'm like, okay, I'm going to listen back again. I'm like, okay, I'm going to listen back one more time because that shit is really good.
Just to make sure I really like this damn thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I love that song. 20 Sex. Well, first of all, I'm going to start with there's a little nerd mode in there because I'm a big fan of dad puns, and the title is a dad pun because it's called 20 Sex 20 or Sex in 2020. It's actually called Sex in 2020.
Yeah.
But I wrote it 20 Sex 20 so that the sex is in between the 20. So it's Sex in 2020. That's just me being clever and a nerd.
I just got it. I was like, oh,
yeah. And also because it was the year 2020, I just thought I was clever. Okay, I really did. The chorus came around. I wrote the song and I got to the chorus. And I was just like, dun, 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 dun. I was like, Sex in 2020, and I laughed. I laughed for like a solid 10 minutes. I'm like, this is gold. So I snuck that in there. But yeah, Sex in 2020 is such a vibe of a song. I love it, and a lot of the songs I produced actually. Essentially 98% of all the songs I've released since 2018 were I produced and were co-produced by Martin D. He co-produces and also like this is my process when it comes to making music now. Like I produce a song and I mix it down, and then I send it to him, and I go like, I love this song. I want you to make it even better. And then he like adds extra production and he adds like another level of mixing on top of it. And it's always, I love it because I always give him carte blanche. I'm like, do whatever feels right. And then when you send it back to me, if we need to reel it in, I'll tell you. And sometimes I'm just like, yeah, that's good. But like, let's just reel it in a little bit because like, you know, but that's the beauty of creativity is like, you get to like work with each other and find a balance that works. But yeah, man, like, he's my go-to. Like I love him to death, and every single song I just send to him without even. There's no brain thought in that process. Just like you make the songs that much better, and I'm always like blown away by what he does. So yeah, Sex in 2020, awesome. Man.
That's great that you found somebody that you can work with consistently, and it sounds like over the years you have found people you work with consistently, and you stick to that because you guys have a great time together, and it works.
Yeah, man. It's I love that, man. Like. Because it's especially for when it comes to mixing, because I need to do my premix And then sometimes, like some people you'll work with and you do your pre-mix and you'll be like, oh, can you send me the vocals raw? And I'm like, no, like, I don't want you to change what I did. I want you to add it to what I did.
Yeah.
And then sometimes people will throw in like, you know, like, I'm gonna say this right now. Everyone that uses autotune, do you live your life? I don't care. Live your life. But like me personally, I don't use autotune, like, because I like to force myself to get to the point where I hit the note. Okay. Like I want to hit the note because I want to be able to like sing live and like still I want people to go like, that's him singing. Like I don't want people to go like, is that him singing? I want them to be like, that's him singing. So like I and that's how I feel like I keep getting better as a singer, because like I push myself to make sure I really hit it. So like it really gets ingrained into me, like the best way to get to a place I want to be. But like sometimes I'll record a song and I'll send to another mixer, and then they'll just throw in like auto-tune, but not even in a good way. They'll throw in that like unnecessarily, just like, why? And I'm just like, what's the point? Why am I singing if they can't hear me anymore? and I'm just like, look, I know people love it, and like I love some songs with it, but like for me personally, don't throw auto-tune on my stuff. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'll always say no. I always will.
And listen, I think we all know people are successful singers and they're not good live. And that's a huge aspect of being an artist. I mean, I know you want to perform, right?
Yeah, I want to perform. I want to be out of breath on stage because I decided to sing everything. Like I want to be that guy. I would rather you hear me physically tired on the mic, because I feel that's a part of the charm, than like to fake it. I cannot. For me personally, like I said, everyone should do them, live their lives. But for me personally, I love that's a big part of it, is knowing that like, like when I hear some songs I do, some notes I hit, I'm just like, that took 40 takes. But like in my head, I'm so proud that like I got there, you know, like 40 takes later, but I got there. And
What is like the most like significant live performance you've seen that really inspired you to say something like that? Because that didn't come out of thin air.
I wouldn't.
Maybe not one.
I don't want to say anything. I don't say names, but like there are some bigger artists that you see them live, and it like you hear them live, and you can't even. It doesn't sound like them, or like it sounds like it almost sounds like it's the first time they had to actually sing the song. Like you hear them, like it'll be a scenario where they don't have access to auto-tune on stage, and it really feels like it's the first time they've had to sing their song. And I don't want to ever be in that position. I want to like, because like one of the most fun things about doing live is every single performance, and I've noticed it that I'll do when I was doing a lot of shows. When I start a song, the first show, by the time I get to the last show, the way I'm singing the song has drastically changed to the point that I actually forget how the song originally went, because then I'll go back and re-listen to the song and be like, oh, I didn't actually do a harmony there. Like, I've just been doing that. I've just been throwing some extra spice in there.
I like that.
That's the beauty. And I feel like if you don't allow yourself to like really dive into that process, and then you can't get to that level where you're that comfortable having fun and just changing things. That's just, again, it's for me.
I like that perspective. I mean, it's almost like you saw what you didn't like to know which direction you want to go in then, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then it's like, I always want to get to I always want to be so comfortable in what I'm doing that I'm not afraid to steer off in a different direction, because I know that I can catch myself anyway. Like it's the same thing as acting. Like whenever I act in movies or TV shows, like I love to learn the lines to the point that like they're like ingrained into my brain, that if I wanted to randomly change an accent on one line, or if I wanted to like do one line while doing jumping jacks, I wouldn't even flinch, because like it's a part of me, you know. And because like, you know, when you're I don't want to go on this tangent, but when you're acting, a lot of times the director would be like, oh, you know, I want you to do that, you know, this line, but we're going to change the movement. We're going to have you do this line while doing push-ups. But like, you don't want to be in a position where like the lines are barely hanging in there. And then you're like, man, you want push-ups, you know? So yeah, I'm always that. I like being unnecessarily prepared.
I like that. Yeah, no, I think you absolutely have to be too. Unnecessarily prepared.
Unnecessarily, to the point where just like, it's okay. It's to the point that there are shows I've done where the lines are still in there, are still like just like, it's like in there. It's just forever in my head. This character is in my head, and I'm that character.
I always wonder that. Like, there's so many things to remember. Like, and that's why I love like musical theater. It's like one of my favorite forms of performance art because it's everything in one.
Yeah.
Room for zero mistakes.
Yeah.
Right. Like, you're singing, you sometimes on your own, you're dancing, you're acting, you're remembering lines, like you're communicating with the crowd. Like it's the best. And I always think about like different types of performance arts. Like when you pull a piece of that, like stand-up comedy, I like too, right? I love like acoustic sets. I like, somebody who sings over the top of like an instrumental with a DJ. So it's like, I don't know, you do have to be unnecessarily prepared in every single way.
Every single way. I always account for, because I mean, like the more you do something, the less you get, nerves. But like, I always get slightly like, I'm fine all the way until like they go like, and next is Stephen Voyce for the, like one split second. I'm just like,
you could die. I know the feeling. Yeah.
Dead. And then like you go on stage and I'm nervous right up until like I say the first line or like record or sing the first word. Mm-hmm. And as soon as I'm doing, I'm like, yeah. But like, it's just, and it's the same thing with like acting, like right before, like the first time they go like, all right, and action, like the first call, I'm just like, and then I say the word, I'm just like, I got this. So I always account for nerves that I need to be unnecessarily prepared so that nerves cannot get the best of me. They will not get the best of me.
Not today, nerves.
Not today, nerves.
Stephen, a question I always love asking. What is your favorite track, regardless of success, streams, or whatever people consider to you?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. I feel like it's evolved over time. I'll give you two. Before Stephen Voyce, as Voice, my favorite song is it's a song called "You Took Care of Me." It was off of the last album of Voice.
Let's check out Stephen Voyce's favorite track. This one's called "You Took Care of Me."
There's a place that I'll find you. In my heart, you know it's true. You sheltered me when I was blue. So I will always love you. You took care of me. You took care of me. You took care of me. So I will always love you. Growing up was crazy. Growing up was crazy. You didn't let me go insane. You didn't let me go insane. Growing up was crazy. Growing up was crazy. You didn't let me lose my way. No, no, no. So, sister, come on, yeah, I love you. Come on, brother, come on, yeah, I love you. Come on, little sister, come on, yeah, I love you. And I will always love you.
And it's my favorite because it's a song, it's the first and only song I wrote about how much I love my siblings. Like I had done so many songs about my mom and, my dad and other things in my life. And I never did a song about my siblings. And I remember why I love it so much is there's a story behind the song. Jess and I got, a few years ago, we got booked to do a show with an orchestra, like an actual orchestra behind us.
Whoa.
And I remember like we went to a rehearsal. The orchestra was already there and they were playing, like they were doing all the things in the background. And I was just like, this is overwhelming. And so I was just like, ooh, I can't believe like it was surreal because here are people who literally go to university to study like music technically. And they're like, we trust you to be the front row of this show. I'm just like, All right.
Yeah.
So we got the rehearsal and I was super nervous because it was overwhelming. And then as they were doing their thing, I saw a piano in front. I was like, I'm going to calm myself down. So I went to the piano and I just started playing keys.
Yeah.
And like instantly, like this chord progression just came out of me. Yeah. And it was so, for some reason, I was just enthralled into that moment, and that chord progression stuck with me. And when I got home, I wrote the song based on that chord progression called "You Took Care of Me," and it was almost like it needed to happen. Like in the moment, it calmed me down, mm-hmm. and brought me back to like a space where I accepted, like, hey, Stephen, you're at a point in your life, in your career, where like these people think that you're worth it. So accept that and be happy with that. And at the same time, it pulled me into a place where a brand new song was born. And then so I got home, I recorded "You Took Care of Me," and it's just like it's been my favorite song off that project ever since, because it's such a powerful song, simplistic, but one that like really resonates how I feel about my siblings and how they're such an important part of my childhood and of my life.
Wow.
So that's
beautiful.
Thank you. That's why that's my favorite one. Now, as Stephen Voyce, my favorite song is actually "Promised Land." It's "Promised Land." And
I was going to bring this one up when I was bringing up 20/20, because it's got an energy to it that I'm like, oh, I love it.
Yeah, I love "Promised Land." And see, I love "Promised Land" because the song itself is a rebellion. And because it's going like, I deserve to be where I'm at. I deserve to be at Promised Land. But when I first recorded that song, I had pitched it to have that song come out earlier, like a lot earlier, back when I was under another, it's called like not management, but like another people that were overseeing my career.
Yeah.
And I pitched that song and they were like, nah, this is not gonna work. People are not gonna like the song. And I was just like, no, I think they're gonna like it. And they're like, nah, they're not gonna like that song. And I was just like, okay. And I, for a second, it's like it's almost like they made me believe it wasn't good enough. And so I started second guessing myself, like, do I not know what's good? You know? And then so when I released it in 2020, I was just like, I was like, there's something about the song. I love it so much. I don't care what anyone says. I'm gonna release this anyway. And it was one of the most well-received songs. Like, and it was such a validation for me to like, not only does this song itself talk about what I went through about the song, it also justified itself. So "Promised Land" is one of my favorites, and it's my favorite from Stephen Voyce, and I love performing it. I love it because like I just lose myself in it. I just jump around and dance.
I love asking that question so much, because I always just get the most genuine response. And both those songs obviously have made impacts on other people, but most importantly made a big impact on yourself.
Absolutely. That's a good question. I've never actually had that question. So thank you for popping my song cherry. That sounded horrible. Whatever. I said it.
You're welcome.
Oh.
Hey, what man, listen. I think this is gonna be episode 196. So I've figured out a few good questions along the way, and that's one that always seems to resonate with the guests.
Nice. I love it, man. I love it.
Okay, so something else I want to talk about. You're a multifaceted, obviously, singer, songwriter, producer, tech geek, philanthropist, and recently an actor and filmmaker. I love the content you put on your Instagram, by the way. It's
Thank you.
And it's just like it's easy to enjoy, and that type of stuff is one of the reasons I still stick around on social media and try and contribute back, is just like to have fun with it, because that's the whole point of it. But what are some other projects that you're working on right now, or what are you excited about that you can tell us about?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, right now, I'll tell you about the things that made me sad.
Okay, perfect.
things that made me sad about the pandemic. There were a few projects, like there was a TV show and 2 movies I was supposed to film in 2020 that got scrapped and because of the pandemic, and they're all like on hold, and we don't know what's going to happen. One of them was a sci-fi show where I play a space pirate, like
Bro,
a space.
That's you.
I know. We filmed episode 1. Actually, there's 2 shows. We filmed episode 1, and it was so much fun. Like, my character is honestly, it's probably the dopest character of all time. to the point that I loved his style so much that when I left, I went up to go buy, because he wears his long coat. I went to go buy an identical coat. I went thrift shopping to go find an identical coat so I could feel this character in my soul.
That's awesome.
So I was so excited about it. It was about like aliens and like living in two parallel worlds, and so that got put on hold. And another one is a show where I play a struggling actor and a musician that is also very sexually open and is not and what's it called when you just do everything and everyone, but
pansexual.
He's all the things. Just call it that. And
Okay.
like such an enigmatic like character, and so much fun to play. And like he's so. I'm not saying I'm someone who's like sexually open, but like this character is just like it's to the point where
that moves.
Yeah, it's the point like I got to play this character in a way where I could make my fellow cast uncomfortable in scenes, because he gets to like be an uncomfortable character to be around.
Wow.
So it's so much fun to play this character. And that's another one I got put on hold. And then there were two others. One was in terms of films, one of them was a comedy horror that we're still waiting to see if that's going to get greenlit again. And then another one was about like where I play a villain, like a really dope villain. So there are really some awesome things that are on hold right now, and we'll see if they're going to come back. But honestly, for me, just being able to get to a point in my life to even be cast in these things, blows my mind. Actually, I'm going to tell you a really cool story.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm going to do it. I got, in 2019, I got, my agent sent me an audition that I was asked to audition for this role. And I just read, because I'm the kind of person where like, I don't like getting too much into who is making the show, because I want to just go in there and do my thing and not really stress about like, who's the person making it. So it was a movie. And my character had this really cool, it was a really cool character. He plays the best friend of the main character. And I was just like, okay, cool. So I learned my lines and all that fun stuff. And I was just like, okay, I'm ready. And then like a few days before the audition, I was like, let me see who's making this movie. And it was Fatherhood, the one with Kevin Hart on Netflix.
Yeah.
So so it was that movie. I was auditioning to play his best friend in the movie. And I was just like, what? Like,
holy shit.
How did this happen? And instantly I got really super nervous. So I was like, what are you talking about? I'm auditioning for this character. And then a friend of mine told me, they were like, look, Stephen, even if you don't get this role, the fact that you were selected to audition means that you're at a point in your career where you're being considered for these kind of roles. And that changed everything. I was just like, you're so right. But that was such a moment. I didn't get the role, obviously, because I'm not in the movie. But yeah, I had fun auditioning for that character, man. And that's the moment where I realized that like I was doing something that like, and I was on the right path, and I was definitely doing it well. And that meant a lot. So yeah, shout out to Kevin Hart. Where he didn't, I'm sure he's not the one that chose me to audition, but shout out to him and the producers for thinking of me as someone that could potentially play that role.
Hey, Kevin Hart's another big fan of Sherman the Booth too. So I know he's going to make it to this point and go, you know what, Stephen Voyce, I think I got an idea for you.
Hey, he's going to be like, I'm sorry we didn't choose you.
That's so cool, man. I'm a huge fan of the film and television industry, and it's cannibalistic, it's barbaric, like in a lot of ways, but I mean there are some truly talented and passionate people there. It's it's a parallel to the music industry in a lot of ways, and I can see that crossover working for you too. It's honestly it's been, I mean, I the way I got into acting wasn't like music where it was like it's something that is inside my soul. Like acting was more of like when Vine was around, I got bored and started filming these little skits of me talking to myself and stuff like that. And I would just do them because I thought they were funny and I love dad jokes. So like, why not? So I would make those, and people would, over time, they were telling me like, like you have a natural knack for this. You should try to take it seriously. I was just like, nah, I don't think so. But as time went on, the more I did it, the more I was just having so much fun with it. And a friend of mine told me like, hey, have you considered getting an agent? And I said, I don't know anything about, I don't know how to even get into
like acting. I don't know what's the process. And he was just like, well, you've accumulated like a lot of all these little skits. You've done a few bigger things. Put it together as a demo reel and shoot it out to a few agents. And he sent me like a list of agents in Montreal. And I was like, all right, well, what else do I have to do? So I spent like all of an hour putting all the demo reels together, and I sent it out. And in the morning, I got a few hits. And I went to go meet one of them. They're called Glen Talents in Montreal. And I just resonated with them so much that they became my agent. And I couldn't believe, like, how did this happen? Like, and it's just, again, it's one of those things that it happened because I was just doing something I'm passionate about. And it always comes back to that. If you're passionate about something, do it, because you never know how far it can take you. You never know.
Wow. Good for you, man.
Thanks, bro.
Gosh, you know what? You are a genuinely happy guy. And just like, that's a Monday, man. I hope people know that right now. It's a fucking Monday.
It's Monday.
It's
Monday. Well, honestly, I'm also feeding off your energy, man. Like, you're like right off the bat, before we start filming the podcast, just chatting with you, like, you instantly know, like, this is going to be a good time. Like, so.
Hey, I appreciate that.
There it is.
I mean, listen, I said it to you, and I've said it to almost every other guest. Like, this to me is so fulfilling, is just connecting with people who are passionate about what they do and just talking about that. And
that's it.
I feel so lucky to have found that true passion. And I mean, I just said to you, I'm 196 episodes in, man. I've been doing this for over 5 years now. And
that's amazing, man. Congrats, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, I have no plans on stopping. And it's just like, it continues to grow, and it's exciting for me. And I mean, I don't even know where the road might take me, but like you said, I just want to keep doing it, because who knows where I'll go, but
you never know, man. You have like a talk show before you know it on TV. I'm gonna be like, I knew it. Hey, there it is.
There I am. Yes.
There
You're coming on
is.
as the musical guest.
And I'll sit down. I'm like, yeah, so let's talk about like my new album.
No, you and I are gonna play Halo online.
Yeah. Are you guys gonna film?
Yeah. One second.
What? Relax.
I'm about to get an overkill. Hold on one second.
Relax, okay? All right. Relax.
Oh man, you are hilarious. What can you tell us music wise that's coming out on the horizon?
Yeah, so Jess Abran actually and I are gonna release another song together called Clean. And Clean comes out actually on Valentine's Day. So actually, I'm not sure when you're gonna post this, but like
it'll be out.
So yes, it'll be out by then. And but I start promoting the marketing for it tomorrow. So you start seeing some stuff on my Instagram and stuff like that about it. But like, I'm gonna be all cryptic about it because why not?
Why not?
Why not? And so yeah, Clean's coming out. I have actually Promised Land is got remixed by a DJ called Jacko. She's based out of Vegas. She's super dope. I reached out to her like 2 months ago, actually right before Christmas, and I said, I want to re-release Promised Land, but I want to remix. Are you down? And she said, yes.
Very
said,
remixable track. Fuck
yeah, man. Yeah, man. And so I sent her the vocals and like the files, and she did like her own interpretation of the song, which is really dope. So that's going to come out actually I'm going to tell you everything. It comes out on March 4th. The Promised Land Jacko remix comes out then. And then I have some others, like I did a few other collaborations coming out soon. And then my own next single that I want to release is a song called Funk Me Up With Your Love.
Let's go.
And that one's going to be a fun funk record. And I don't know when it's going to come out, but my plan is towards end of March. But I want to film the music video and all that stuff before that. So, but yeah, it's going to be a fun, easy to listen to, good time song about getting funked up with someone's love.
Hey, man, I'll get funked up any day.
All day. You know what? You know why I call it "Fuck Me Up"? Fuck me up with your love.
Yeah.
Because if it gets on the radio, they're gonna have such a hard time navigating it, so it doesn't sound like "Fuck Me Up with Your Love."
You couldn't even say it right there.
And I'm just like, yes. Could you imagine? They're all like, all right.
Next up. Smart man right there.
Good times.
With your love, man. Once again, shout out to Jess, and exciting stuff for you, brother. I really mean every word I say. You're so talented.
Thank you.
Thank you. So bright for you. It's a pleasure connecting with someone like you who has honestly, like you've had quite a journey, and I know you stay humble about that. And you know,
That's my man. Thank you.
You sharing and opening up about your story today, and man, I can't wait to take you on a Batman tour of Chicago. That's all I'm
Oh my
say.
gosh, I can't wait. We'll have to have the whole thing filmed. We'll have to have the whole thing filmed. Like, yeah.
For sure. Keep the cameras rolling, baby.
Yeah, man. They need to know because I'm gonna show up dressed up as Batman. I don't even care. I don't even care. I don't even care if I can't wear the shawl, what the hell it's called, because of my hair. I'll do it. I'll find a way. This will be poking out. You're gonna be like, Stephen, I know it's you. I'm like, I know.
I'll enjoy it either way, my man. Awesome. Stephen, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And for everybody that listened all the way through, thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this interview as much as we did.
Yeah, man.
All right, brother. You have a good night. Thank you. I really do appreciate it.
You too. Hold on. I'm going to take a screenshot of this because this is good times. How to do this. I'm going to do this like this.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Ready.
All right, let's do it. Got it.
Yes. Have a good night, brother. Thank you. We'll be
too.
in touch soon, okay? Man, do I love Sherman the Booth. Oh, hey, I think you do too. Hope you enjoyed that piece of content. If you're looking for more, make sure to my YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any upcoming Sherman the Booth interviews, live sets, new music, exclusive artist interviews, Sherm's Word, sub-pack reviews, and more. This is your one-stop shop for everything entertainment. Cheers.